Hello, 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 and welcome back to A Little Birdie Told You. I'm your host, Kristen Knight.
And I'm your host, Kelli Knight.
And Kelli, I've got a question. Do you think that you should put space in your relationships?
I think there should always be space in a relationship just because I'm not going to say everybody talks bad about you, but really, you don't want to put a lot of energy into somebody that you don't know what they're saying about you behind, closed doors.
Now, do you think you should put space in romantic relationships as well?
Yes, because I think you should have your own, friend group, social life, whatever you want to call it, separate from that person. Just because it's I think just space in general helps a relationship, build up and, grow. Because you can't just, people are like, oh, yeah, you have to grow in a relationship, but you also need to grow yourself before you grow a relationship.
You need to know yourself.
Yeah.
A fair amount. Know yourself enough that your burdens and your baggage aren't carried into another person's life. And I think a lot of us, that kind of corresponds to our friendships, because a lot of friends, and I guarantee you have a friend right now, likes to burden you with their problems. Mm-hmm. A lot of us have those one friends that always talk about something, or talk about that one reoccurring topic, or talk about their problems, and they never ask you, well, how are you doing? I guarantee you right now, analyze your friends, and if you sit down, you're like, oh my gosh, I have that friend that always talks about their relationship problems, but they never ask me how I'm doing. They never once asked me, oh, are you okay? They never once asked me to hang out because they're always worried about pleasing the people that don't care about them.
Yeah, especially if they're always around those kids that could give nothing about them, right? Mm-hmm. But then when they come to you, it's all problems and they do not care what you're going through.
And this is why it's important you put space in these relationships. Because not only is it important to put space in healthy relationships, a fair amount, but it's important to put that boundary in the relationships that people treat you as if you're a burden in their life.
Yeah.
I know there are so many people out here that are being taken advantage of when it comes to their friendships, because there's somebody that cares enough, they're a pleaser in the relationship, as a friend, as a romantic partner, that when they're in the relationship with somebody, they'll stick around until they realize, wow, this person is really taking me for granted. Mm-hmm. This person treats me that when they're around me, they treat me like I'm nothing to them. They treat me as if I'm absolutely a bother to them. Mm-hmm. And you don't deserve that. No. Let me tell somebody that. If you need to hear this right now, you don't deserve that. If you have that friend, when you hang out with them or you spend time with them, or even if you're in a relationship and you spend time with them, you do all these little acts and these little acts of service and these deeds, and simply just being there as a friend and listening. And then when it's your chance, they're like, oh, I got to go. I have this friend to hang out with. Or I actually need to go do this, or this person's more important. And you start to realize, wow, but I'm this friend. I'm here. Mm-hmm. Remove yourself. You need space, because space is the case in this situation. Yeah. Let me tell you, do not put yourself in a position that people that you're involved with, whatever regard that is, even if it's just simply somebody you talk to a little bit, don't put yourself in the position that when you give them energy, they act like you're not worth energy in return. Mm-hmm. How much is your energy? What's the currency of your energy? Because your currency of your energy should be very high. It should be significantly high. You should value yourself enough to say, I'm not going to waste my time giving energy to people that don't give me energy in return.
Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of things that fake friends do, though, in general, or people that you feel like you're chasing them to be friends with them, they give you little breadcrumbs just to keep you along, because I think in their mind, people that are around fake people know that they're fake, but they just like being around them for the social, the socialness of it, of being oh yeah, I'm friends with them and I'm cool, whatever, this or that. But the real people that are in their life, they sit there and they feed them little breadcrumbs until they notice you're completely gone, and then they're freaking out because they're like, oh my God, I just let somebody go that was real to me, but it doesn't actually hit them until that person's gone. But sometimes you have to leave them. Don't sit there and eat those breadcrumbs they're giving you, because you're worth a big piece of bread. Put it that way.
No, you're not worth a piece of bread. You're worth the whole loaf.
Yeah, you're worth the whole loaf.
You're worth the whole loaf. You don't deserve the little breadcrumbs. You don't even deserve a single slice of bread. You deserve the whole loaf. And if you believe you do, you will get that whole loaf, okay?
Yeah.
And I don't mean this in a way, oh, I do this and they do things for me. No, I mean you're disrespected as a person.
Yeah.
If you are the one that always is chasing people, then you don't deserve that, okay? You don't deserve to have to chase people.
Like I like to say, as I heard this today actually. When
fun.
You go fishing, do you chase the freaking fish? No, you don't chase the fish. The fish chase you. So that goes for relationship, friends, or anything. People, you should not be sitting there having to chase people, especially with energy and just in general putting in like just any type of relationship, if somebody's not giving you the vibes that they want to be around you, let that little fishy go. Well, just let him go, because it's not worth it. There's plenty bigger fish out there that are going to be like, yeah, I see something in you that I want to be friends with you. I'm going to put effort into coming to see you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if they're not doing it, let them go.
And you notice this a lot with friendships, is like you were just saying, the little breadcrumbs is they keep you around enough to satisfy you for a slight interval of time.
Yeah.
Not enough to keep a friendship going.
No.
And in their eyes, they look at you, and you notice this a lot, is they become embarrassed of you. They become embarrassed of your presence when once at one time your presence was everything to them. If someone doesn't look at you as a friend or as a relationship and value your presence when they sit down with you or talk with you or hang out with you or just spend quality time with you, whatever that may be, then they're not deserve your time. They don't deserve your time. So this is why I'm going to tell you, put yourself in a position where there's some space in between you and that person. This is how you know if you're in one of those friendships or one of those relationships as well, for instance, is do you always feel exhausted? Do you feel like you're always the one putting so much work in that you almost feel like it's intolerable? Like you're doing all this work and you don't get a friend out of it. You get somebody who just vents to you about their problems. You don't deserve to be vented to unless you can have someone to do that too as well. And sometimes it's good to have, a little bit of, okay, they're going through something. I'm going to be there for them. I'm going to be a friend. But then
it's like you second guess it because you're sitting there like, oh yeah, I'm being there for them, but like they were never there for me, or they're not going to be there for me.
Or they go hang out with someone else or spend time with a friend and they give everything to that friend, but they won't give anything to you. That doesn't make any sense. Or in that relationship, you notice that they give everything to someone else, but then when it comes to you, it's like they know you're there, so they lack putting energy into you because they know you're there. So why are you staying in that position? And some of us don't want to let go because we're afraid that if we let go of that friendship, of that relationship, that we're going to have nothing in return. Well, let me tell you, give yourself some space to learn yourself and learn how you feel about yourself. Value the time with yourself, so then that way you can build yourself up so high when it comes to your esteem and confidence that someone else will come around and give you that energy, because you're going to look at them and say, I don't deserve any less than this. I don't deserve any less than being treated as a person. I don't deserve to be stomped on and disrespected as a person. I deserve time. I deserve energy. I deserve care. I'm your friend. I'm here for you, and I'm giving you that. You should give me that in return as well. I think that you shouldn't sit there and just tolerate that. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve that as a person. Another thing is you should put time into your self-care.
Yeah.
Mentally and physically, you should be well enough that if that person is projecting all of their insecurities on you, that you're not a good enough person for them, you're not X, Y, and Z for them, then why you shouldn't have to live up to those standards and put them on a pedestal. They don't deserve that pedestal. A lot of us do that, and that's why we don't want to leave those relationships or friendships. We put these people on a pedestal. They don't care about us. And it's not worth it at the end of the day. It's not worth, put yourself on a pedestal.
Yeah, I was about to say that. You know what? Out of anybody, put yourself in that pedestal. Like really just like work on yourself, work on everything that like everybody's sitting there saying bad about you. Just work on yourself. Who cares?
Work on yourself and become mindful of your actions. Become mindful and selective of the people that you bring into your life. And if they disrespect those boundaries, if they disrespect you, you put space in between. Space is healthy because it signifies that you value yourself.
Yeah.
It signifies that you value yourself enough to create a boundary that when you're not treated the way you want to be treated,
you know to walk away from it.
Yeah, you know to walk away. You know to take a moment for yourself, because at the end of the day, you know yourself is more valuable than anyone else's opinions, anyone else's projections, anyone else's perception. You know you're more important, so you don't take the time to even think or contemplate on how they feel about you. If they treat you bad, automatically you shut off and you put yourself in a position to take space away. And start developing that habit for yourself. Start developing that habit that when you have friends that don't treat you right, you remove yourself from the situation. You say, I'm not tolerating this. They say, oh, I'm embarrassed of you. Can you act cool in front of this person? Or can you do this? Or can we not like spend any time together? Or like, I'm busy, I have plans. Or they start venting about something. Don't even say anything. Just create a space. Don't ask them to hang out anymore, because then they're going to ask, well, where did they go? That relationship, if all of a sudden they start, or that person you're talking to, all of a sudden they start playing mind games. Yeah. It's a bit back and forth with confusion. Shut off. Automatically just put space. Put space automatically.
Like they say, when they go low, go lower. Because there's no point. If they're going to sit there and be like very dry and everything, be the driest you possibly can be. Don't even answer them. Because there's no point. If they're not going to sit there and act like they want to talk to you and act like they want to hang out with you and actually like care about how you feel, let them go. It's not worth it.
The moment you realize people are not serious about you as a person, and I don't mean dedicated, serious, committed. I mean serious as if they treat you as a person.
And they actually care about like the relationship or friendship.
They care, but yeah, they care about
and you like you can
it.
see it when like they actually put the effort in. You're like, oh, you can see they like actually care about our friendship.
Yeah, they don't maintain it. They don't care about it at all. That's the moment you let go of it. Don't be afraid to let go, because guess what? You're just making room for something else better to come along.
Yeah.
When one door closes, another door opens. So when you remove that person from your life, you're making space for not only another person, making room for yourself to be able to just value yourself.